Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for today's event. My name is Scott Lowe. I'm with Actual Tech Media and have a few housekeeping details before we get started. As you can see, we have a jam-packed agenda today. In addition to our experts who will talk about the key ingredients for IT success, Chef Sunny Harrell is here to share some recipes for culinary success. Get ready for an entertaining and informative session. Now, let's turn things over to our event host to get started.
Hello, I'm Katie Riley of Agilant Solutions, Inc., and it is my pleasure to welcome you to today's webisode. At Agilant, we team with Hewlett-Packard Enterprise to provide the most advanced and strategic technologies so you can be more competitive and achieve exceptional business outcomes. We are so excited to introduce you to 3 dynamic speakers who will talk to the latest trends and solutions in intelligent storage, remote workforce solutions, and using a pay-as-you-go IT model. So let's get right into it and hear from our experts.
Great knife skills are essential if you want to move quickly, stay in control, and be efficient with your meal prep. Your IT needs the same kind of dexterity. Organizations have a seemingly insatiable appetite for data, but without an intelligent strategy and platform, it's impossible to unlock its value and accelerate transformation. HPE Sundip Aurora is here to show you how an intelligent storage strategy and intelligent platform can catapult your business forward and help IT do more every day.
Hello and welcome. My name is Sundip Arora and I'm a director at HPE Storage in North America. It is my pleasure today to introduce you to the Intelligent Data Platform from HPE. I think it goes without saying that intelligence changes everything. It automates the operations in the back end, it simplifies our support experience, and it truly allows us to harness the power of the data. If you look at what's happened over the last decade or so, we've entered the dawn of intelligence, and that has evolved through the flash era, where speed, efficiency, simplicity was key, to the cloud era, and then now we're at a place where the experience is driven through artificial intelligence. Flash brought with it speed, which delivered 95% of the performance gain. For example, we went from 10 millisecond to response times of under a millisecond. Whereas the cloud era brought new levels of agility, with everyone expecting an as a service experience in their own data center and not just in the public hyperscalers. Today, we're at the dawn of what is driven by artificial intelligence for infrastructure operations, and that is truly unlocking insights into our data. What we need to understand is the rise of that intelligent enterprise is built on an always on, always fast, extremely agile, and innovative platform. Organizations that embrace intelligence really stand to drive their business forward. And there's a couple of reasons here. The first one we look at is when you look at IT infrastructure management, and the complexity that's associated with it. You can have a very performant and reliable storage platform, but that only addresses a fraction of the problem you may be facing. What IDC tells us is that more than 90% of the issues usually seen in an infrastructure stack arise above the storage layer. That could be the server, networking, or virtualization stacks above it. But that still impacts overall availability and performance of the applications. There are hundreds and maybe even thousands of variables that can contribute to application disruption. And that requires countless simulations, what if scenarios to figure out. I think this is just way too of a complex and potentially impossible problem for humans to solve unassisted. In addition to being able to assist with understanding the root cause, it's also important that intelligence allows us to look at where is the most efficient place for a particular workload. Understanding the application, its behavior, its drivers, understanding the ROI required allows intelligence to drive where a particular workload should reside. In addition, it's important that intelligence is at the center of overall data management. Data has gravity. Data has a life cycle. It has a continuum that spans your primary systems, your secondary systems, your backup, even your archive, and it spans copies of data across all these platforms and your dev, test, and analytics workloads. So how do you know where your data should live for placement throughout its life? At scale, that is just a almost an impossible problem again for humans to solve. And this is where we introduce HPE's intelligent data platform. Um, our strategy is to deliver a platform that turns your data challenges into business opportunities, right? So it begins with, at the bottom layer, workload optimized systems, which essentially means delivering the right system for the right application workload, whether that's mission critical or it's general purpose, email servers as an example, or it's secondary or data protection. At HPE, we've built these purpose built workload optimized systems to address specific problems. But what customers want is to go beyond that. They want to be able to unlock agility and innovation across any cloud, not just on premises, but also between your on premise infrastructure and your cloud providers. So, what we do at HPE is we provide the plumbing between the systems themselves. So, there is data movement, and then there is data movement between on-premise application systems and cloud infrastructure solutions. This is the HPE hybrid cloud experience that we'll talk about. So if you start at that layer, on top of that, you add a global intelligence engine to it. That global intelligence engine for us comes via Infosight, which is an industry leader in artificial intelligence for infrastructure operation solution. What Infosight does, it looks at billions of key points of sensor data from across all the systems we have, over 100,000 systems that we have in the field, and it creates predictive analytics out of that via workload fingerprinting, running a global learning engine on top of it, and then running a recommendations engine on top of it. And that allows us to get those insights to customers that continually keep these fleet of systems consistently optimized and running at full efficiency. But these insights are not only delivered for storage administrators, but that extends to virtual machine admins as well, right? For example, we look at a VM farm and see which VMs are sitting idle, yet consuming tens of terabytes of capacity. We see if a VM is sapping the performance of a system and its neighbors, or whether the SLA of the overall VM farm would be better if moved to a suggested system. We take those insights and we map it to workloads. We map it to actual line of business owners. What we've created are REST API first strategy in HPE that offers pre-built automation connectors for things like Kubernetes and a variety of different tools, so that your developers can deploy infrastructure as a code, and they can get the full as a service experience they think they can only get from the public cloud. This to us is a true end-to-end intelligent data platform strategy. It starts at the top with the line of business owner, and at the bottom with workload optimized and composable systems, and then in the middle with a strong layer of intelligence that allows us to connect the dots. Now, if you map that intelligent data platform strategy to products, we are well on our way in delivering that platform strategy. Underpinning the strategy are these industry leading portfolio of products, starting from the left with Primera and 3PAR, which are our mission critical storage solutions, with Nimble and Simplicity, which are our general purpose edge solutions, and then um, Nimble Hybrid on Store Once and HPE Recovery Manager that support our secondary solutions. And then we've also built out a really robust set of containerized AI and big data solutions, which Blue Data, MapR, and high density Apollo servers. What we've also done is we've extended the availability of InfoSight, which is the AI operations tool, across many different products in HPE, such that the experience of leveraging intelligence goes beyond just storage. And then we finally encapsulated this in HPE GreenLake. HPE GreenLake is the availability for on-premise customers to be able to get a as a service consumption experience that allows customers to buy based on usage and map their capital purchases to operational purchases. So if you look at the three key tenets of the HPE Intelligent Data Platform, it really is built for the intelligence era based on InfoSight, which is our AI-driven backend operations predictive analytics platform to help create as much autonomy into the management of the IT operations and systems as well. It is built for the cloud. All of the solutions that we've built at HPE allow us to have connectors to public cloud infrastructures. And then it is built with an as a service experience, allowing you to get the same agility, same consumption model that you would do on a public cloud, but do it on premises. So now let's talk about how we actually do this. It really starts with InfoSight. HPE InfoSight has changed the IT experience by using intelligence to make infrastructure autonomous. What does this really mean for you? It means that you can be a whole lot more efficient. In fact, you can spend up to 85% less time dealing with infrastructure or backend issues, right? You spend more time on running projects that are actually helping the business um, get ahead. It also helps you make sure that your business is always on, always fast. Nimble storage provides 6 nines of availability. HPE Primera provides 100% uptime guarantee, and we map that to the experience we get from InfoSight because AI and ML gets better and smarter over time. So it helps us predict issues before they actually happen, so we can make sure that your business operations aren't affected by it. And then finally, and I do think this is the most important piece, is it transforms your support experience. Today, 86% of all tickets on InfoSight are opened automatically, and they're resolved with zero involvement on your part. It really has this power to predict and prevent problems before you even know about them. And InfoSight combined with the expertise of HPE Point Next services can truly instantly pinpoint and correct performance issues. And that allows, again, you to free up your resources, your time to focus on what can help innovate the business. Let's look at how a customer organization is seeing value from the use of InfoSight. Visolit is a cloud service provider that wanted to modernize the data center. They want to make sure that their cloud customers get fast, efficient access to both primary data, and then it's also protected against loss and corruption in the backend. They used InfoSight to make sure that they have better confidence in the workloads they're serving up. They get better predictability in capacity usage, and they get better predictability in performance trends. And truly, that's helping them map to all their customer SLAs better, and then transforming their business model to an as a service future. Another way the intelligence data platform can help you tame complexity is that it is built for the cloud from the ground up. It's designed to work seamlessly with public and private cloud infrastructure so that it can evolve with your cloud strategy and journey no matter where you are in that journey. You can move from any workload. You can move any workload from production databases to secondary to backup to the cloud. It provides integration points with DevOps systems like Kubernetes, Dockers, and Mesosphere, and it makes managing data apps in a hybrid cloud environment much easier with the HPE container platform. What you can expect from HPE is a multi-cloud storage that's millions of times more durable than standard cloud storage. HPE Cloud Volumes allows us to negate the risk of data loss. You can continue to use Azure or AWS to serve up your compute needs. At the same time, you use HPE storage to serve up your storage needs. That seamless interface allows you to then not get locked in to any egress charges or locked into any particular cloud service provider for storage. Allows you to then also switch cloud service providers, repatriate the data without the fear of the lock-in. With HPE Cloud Bank Storage, which allows for backup and archive data to the cloud, you can expect a 20x cost reduction in cloud storage cost and your data transfer cost. And it really leverages the best in class data reduction and dedupe that we have to offer to protect your data in the cloud. And then finally, the ability to get uh, expertise to be able to deploy, understand requirements. And that comes from our cloud consulting team that can help you avoid hidden costs, make sure that you're not overspending in the cloud, help you implement the right processes, and then make sure you have the right tools for your cloud journey. And a great example of this is a customer that we were working with, the Carteret County Public Schools. The challenge the school system had was they wanted to reduce the risk of data loss to severe weather and flooding because they were on coastal communities and that's what they often experience. Additionally, their existing subscription-based cloud backup solution did not support virtual environments. What we were able to deploy with them was HPE Nimble Storage Flash Arrays with cloud volumes. And the school system was able to use their on-premises Nimble Storage Flash Arrays with cloud volumes to be able to back up their data to cloud seamlessly. And they were able to get this solution, ensure a 15-minute recovery point for critical data, and make sure that they had near instant data recovery from their snapshots. All of this while saving tremendously on the costs that they had to incur before this. And the final tenet of our strategy is making sure we deliver everything as a service. This means that you truly can act like your own service provider in your data center. The HPE brings with its automation tools so that developers can provision resources in a self-service manner, enabling app development to proceed much faster than they're having to wait for an IT person to help them out. We also bring really flexible consumption models for all of our infrastructure. So across the board, HPE GreenLake allows you to use a super flexible agile consumption model so that you only pay for what you use and then you're able to deploy quickly, you're able to upgrade faster, you're reducing the time to market compared to a traditional procurement model. And then if you do capitalize on your if you do capitalize your infrastructure, we create a timeless experience for you, which means that you don't have to have a lift and shift strategy on your infrastructure. We provide a seamless upgrade path with very predictable costs, and then over time get you into the latest and greatest technology without incurring any migration cost to it. If you look at a customer who utilized the HPE GreenLake model, um, this customer was able to leverage an as a service experience with both HPE 3PAS storage and HPE GreenLake. This is a hospital in the Netherlands that really needed help with modernizing, managing data growth, and controlling their cost. The customer and HPE entered into a pay per usage agreement within the GreenLake model, which was built per gigabyte per month based on new modern flash-based storage systems that also helped solve their performance issues. So in conclusion, I would say, why HPE is because HPE has invested more in R&D in ensuring that the underpinnings of everything we do is through intelligence. You get a choice. We understand that. You have many vendors you can consider. We expect that the vendor that you look at gives you an option where AI-driven automation is at the heart of everything they do because that frees up resources. It enables cost-aware data management so that you can focus on innovation rather than administration. We also want to make sure our customers understand we want to support the way you want to do it. You should do it your way. Our platform is built for any cloud, and it can run any workload anywhere. And then finally, we want to make sure that you get an as a service experience. We've made a commitment that by 2022, every product that we sell through HPE will be available through an as a service subscription model. That's a big undertaking, but we understand this is the way that customers want to consume IT infrastructure today because it provides them the agility and the cost benefit that they potentially would get from a public cloud vendor. Yet it gives them the security and the performance from an on-premises solution. So hopefully you have HPE in your consideration, and please reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Sundip. That was very informative. Work with Agilant Solutions to determine if a pay-as-you-go IT model is right for you. To take advantage of this offer, just drop your name into the registration box below and we'll be in touch. And to further simplify your at-home workload, we're pleased to introduce Star Chef Sunny Harrell, who's going to teach you how to chop vegetables.
Welcome. This is Quarantine Cooking with your host, Sunny Harrell. That's me. My goal with this series is to get your food intelligence from here all the way up there. And we're going to start by finding a very intelligent, secure, safe way to cut up vegetables, because we want to conserve these. Now, let's go! Now, before we chop anything, I want to show you how I keep my fingers safe. By the way, I never cut myself. You basically want to make your hand into a claw shape. And now when I'm cutting anything, this one knuckle keeps me safe. Because as I move up and down and slice, the knife is gliding along this knuckle. As long as my finger doesn't come out like this, I'll be fine. You could do that off your ring finger, off your middle finger, you could do it off both. Let me show you the most intelligent way to cut up an onion. Most people will tell you to take off the root end and the bottom end first. What I recommend, taking the whole onion straight in half. Now just trim the bottom ever so slightly, because unless you're gonna julienne the onion, you wanna leave the root intact. This root area has the highest concentration of enzymes that make you cry, so you cut it last, you cry last. Better than crying first. Now just peel. Now we'll do a few different sized dice. Start with a bigger dice, remember the knuckle. And we wanna cut as far back to the root without cutting through it. Now once through the middle, remember finger security, keep them out of the way. All the way back to the root. Now we'll cut about 4 or 5 times this way. And that's a nice bigger dice. You could use that for lots of applications. Now let's do a small dice. So this time, we're gonna go very thin. Now again, turn sideways. Once in the bottom third. Once in the top third. And now we're gonna slice very thin this way. Which leaves you with a very beautiful, very small dice, perfect for a risotto. Now to julienne an onion, same step as the first time, and we're just gonna make a V on the root end, and we just start slicing in. Now when we get a little more than halfway, for safety, what we do is flip that onion on the side we were cutting, and continue to cut. That's a beautiful julienne. Let me show you something very important about slicing broccoli. So you want to cut it up pretty high, right? That will break down into florets, but I'm more concerned about this, because most people throw this stalk away, and this is my favorite part of the broccoli. So I'll just trim the bottom to make it stable, and now holding it upright, we're gonna peel it with a knife. You could also do this with a peeler, no problem. Now we're left with this, which we could just cut to nice little pieces and cook with our broccoli, or something else we could do. Slice very thin one way like this, stack them up, and slice very thin this way. Now that is a beautiful way to prepare raw broccoli. I would add that to any kind of coleslaw or salad. Now finally, cauliflower, which we're gonna cut into steaks and use for the vegetarian option of this series. So I like to just sneak my knife in. Now, as we're making this into steaks, we're gonna take the whole thing and literally just quarter it. Quarter's done, now we just wanna trim a little more. But remember, this is holding it all together, so if you cut through that too much, you have florets, which we don't want for this preparation. That's it, steak's done, ready for cooking. Okay, so we're building, and I hope your food intelligence is already gone up. Thank you for joining me, my friends. I will see you on the next one where we are gonna be creating the most amazing homemade spice mixes. I'll see you there, and I'm out.
Thanks, Chef Sunny, for teaching us how to chop things up without chopping off our fingers. The ability to support a remote workforce is a critical ingredient in any IT recipe today. Let's hear from Roni Ademi to talk about remote worker solutions from HPE.
Hello, my name is Roni Ademi and I'm the ProLine Category Manager for North America. Today we're going to talk about HPE ready to deploy teleworker solutions. In today's world, we are experiencing one of the largest workforce we have ever seen. The world had to shift in a very short period of time to work from home without planning. Government-enforced lockdown in many areas around the globe crippled organizations to keep businesses as usual. At HPE, we are always looking at ways to help our customers perform better. But our CEO, our mission is to improve the way we live and work. Since the beginning of this pandemic, we have worked extensively with our partners and alliances to fulfill customers' needs. We've leveraged a network of hundreds of warehouses with thousands of partners to make over 7,000 servers available to ship immediately and overnight if needed. Those servers are nothing but what every customer knows how to deploy, built on x86 servers powered by Insight Slide Out, known by ILO, which is our management software, delivering ProLine's world's most secure servers, easy, simple, and fast to deploy. ProLine has been a market leader for years. Performance will be unbeatable and will provide our remote users the outcome desired for an office-like productivity, no doubt. On top of that, we have extended the trial license for our ILO Advanced. ILO Advanced allows our IT personnel to connect remotely to that environment and be able to manage their servers from a remote location. It will give them extensive set of features like booting the server or shutting down the server, allowing multi-personnel collaboration to work on some specific projects. All these features are embedded in that ILO Advanced with an extended trial license until January 1st, 2021. In order to keep them safe, it will be at no cost to their organizations. HPE Remote Worker Starter Configuration. So we've worked extensively with Microsoft on creating 4 different configurations: light, medium, heavy, and power. If we talk about the light configuration, think about it as, let's say, a customer service personnel that most of their job is basically taking some notes and actually spending more time talking to the customers on the phone. These workers qualify as a light user. So basically, a configuration based on light situation would be ideal for this type of teleworkers. Medium, this is when you start getting a little bit more advanced on the applications you're using. Heavy and power, exactly the same trend. More advanced and more design and video-driven applications like Photoshop, Illustrator, or CAD. As well, we are adding some Tesla T4 cards into these configurations. Let's take a look at these configurations. However, before we go into these configurations, let's talk what is remote desktop services. So the world knows VDI, and this is a world-known solution or workload. We have seen everybody jumping all over virtual desktop infrastructure. It's a great solution. It delivers on performance. It is secure. However, it comes with a little bit of complexity. We work with Microsoft on leveraging their remote desktop services. Remote desktop services is basically a way to connect Microsoft users into their environment so they can access their data and their Office suite. It comes extremely secure because all the data and the application will remain and reside on the initial system. The user can leverage any type of user device in order to create that connection. Plus, on top of that, IT personnel would not need to be extensively invested in person at the data center in order to create that environment. It's a simple environment that could be created remotely. All right, so here's a look at our configurations. A DL360 powered with a 4208 from an Intel perspective. That's a BTO system with 16 gigs of memory, an 8-spoon form factor drive cage, definitely has a power supply, and then we've added the additional amount of memory plus a secondary processor, two hard drives, just enough to have the Windows Server 2019 data center installed, an ILO Advanced license, and an extra power supply for redundancy purposes. As well, we're giving our customers and partners access to our free security and InfoSight workshop. The medium level is basically based on an AMD system, a DL325. You've heard us for many months talking about the DL325, the power of this unit with a 1P, one processor built in. This system comes in with the 7402P, which is a 24 cores to deliver on a great performance, powered with additional memory, 2 hard drives, same like the light user, and the right licenses, ILO Advanced, and 800-watt power supply. What you see in common between those configurations from a Microsoft perspective, on both of them we have the Windows Server 2019 data center, we have the 2019 RDS user call, and you have the 2019 regular user call. All these will enable those systems to deliver up to 30 users environment. Let's take a look at the heavy and power systems. In heavy and power systems, we leverage both Intel systems. We are using a DL380 with 5218 processor. We added a secondary processor, the right amount of memory, 2 drives, again, same like the other solutions, and the right licenses to make the system support 30 users. And on the power side, this is where you see an extra alliance or partnership added to this configuration. So we work with Intel to build in that system with a 6242 processor. We added a secondary one, and we work with NVIDIA, that's the T4, to add that card to the system, and it's available in the channel, ready to go. And on top of that, the alliance with Microsoft to complement that solution with the Windows Server 2019 and the RDS calls and user calls. All these systems will support up to 30 users, and they are ready to ship now. This is the powerful part of all these configurations. Those configurations are set as a guidance to help you, our customer or partner, find those solutions in stock and have them delivered overnight if needed. Remember, some of our partners and distributors offer zero-cost integration. Let's leverage that to make sure that we are delivering one box ready to go. Those systems are the power of ProLiant. Power of ProLiant is consumed with 3 different pillars. Intelligent automation, and this is when we are talking about InfoSight and the power of InfoSight. For those of you who doesn't know what InfoSight is, we inherited InfoSight from the acquisition of Nimble. InfoSight delivers on intelligent analytics. For those of you who are not aware about InfoSight, InfoSight is a tool that we inherited with the acquisition of Nimble. InfoSight delivers on global intelligent analytics. It's a cloud-based system that collaborates between all these systems and creates that telemetry library to deliver analytics and prevent failures. It will help customers keep their system up and running, provide them insights on how the health of their system is performing, and on top of that, it will help them understand their server environment, how many years have been active, which generations they have. It will go back all the way to Gen 8, Gen 9, and Gen 10. Intelligent optimization, and this is where we leverage different workloads to power our ProLine environment. On top of that, this is where we work with GreenLake to deliver GreenLake powered by ProLine servers. It's the consumption-based system to help our customer pay per use. And intelligent security. Definitely, when we created our Gen 10, we led with the world's most secure server. And it's still a valid statement. You might not be familiar by CyberCallus by March. So the insurance underwriters, names like AXA, Beasley, and others, have got together to create March, a coalition to reduce the amount of claims and create a safer environment. March has created a set of different security requirements for people or for organizations to meet before they get that designation. So there was 150 products that were submitted last year. 17 were accepted, and out of those 17, 2 are HPE. One is the ProLine Gen 10, and another one is from Aruba, our sister network company. So today we can proudly say that HPE ProLine servers are the only servers globally that have a CyberCallus designation by March, which designates that are very safe, very secure products. And by the way, if you have a CyberCallus designated product, you might be entitled for better terms and conditions with your cyber insurance provider. So to sum it up, HPE remote worker solutions are ready to ship, fast to deploy, and provide an office-like productivity. And we're going to handle the financial part of it. Trade in an older server against the purchase of a new one, and you'll get a $400 cashback rebate. If that new one is an AMD server, there will be an extra $400 rebate, so that's $800 in total. And if you happen to purchase one of our solutions or in any solutions adding a Windows Server 2016 or 2019 reseller option kit, that's an extra $600 back. So all in all, you can get back $1,400 cash back plus any fair market value on that older unit that you are sending back. This offer is available until the end of July. And due to the current situation with the COVID-19 crisis, we are extending the deadline to return older server from 30 days to 90 days. We want to make sure that our IT personnel, at partners and at customers are staying safe and staying inside. I mentioned briefly the Security and Wellness Workshop. This is a great way to learn more and extensively about our security, about our InfoSight, about ILO and ILO Amplified Pack. Plus, you'll be able to learn deeper information about the CyberCallus designation and a step-by-step cookbook on how to properly set up your server to be the world's most secure server and to really take advantage of the CyberCallus designation. We have several courses available and several schedules. Please visit the link that's on the screen and it will pop out all the dates that are coming very soon. For any additional information on this program, please do not hesitate to reach out to my counterpart, Alan Whipple, who would be able to help you out with additional information. Just note, it's like 3 hours course with a physical or with a virtual instructor, live instructor, where you can ask live questions and live chat to get all your information or all your questions answered. With that, I want to thank you for spending some time with me today going over the HPE Remote Teleworker solution. I guess we have a very good advantage in the market to help our customers get their systems quickly and deploy them fast. This could have been done without the relationship that we have with our distributors and channel partners. With that, I want to thank you and I want to ask you to stay safe.
Thank you, Roni, for helping us understand the ins and outs of going remote with our workforce. Agilant would like to offer you a complimentary needs analysis to design a VDI solution that works for you. Just drop your name in the registration box below and we'll follow up with you. We're pleased to welcome back to the show Chef Sunny Harrell, who's going to teach us how to create a unique spice blend for any meal.
Welcome back. When you create an IT strategy, it's the ingredients that make a great solution. And it's the same way for me, except with food. So today, with carefully chosen ingredients, we're gonna make two of the best spice mixtures you've ever seen. My homemade rosemary salt, which is gonna be on every table in America soon, and homemade curry powder. We all know what curry powder is. It's 10 times better homemade. Well, let's go. Let's start with the rosemary salt. We're gonna start by stripping 3 big sprigs of rosemary. Now we'll just pick 2/3 of an ounce of sage. That's about 40-50 leaves. And simple, we don't want the stem, we just pluck that off, save the leaves. Now 3/4 cup of kosher salt is going into a food processor. You can also do this in a blender if you don't have one of these. Straight in, herbs in, 3 cloves of peeled garlic going in. Now let me show you the most intelligent way to zest a lemon. Take the lemon and you just pull down, working your way all the way around. So zest of 1 whole lemon straight in. Now, all we need to do is blend this up for about a minute. And when it's done, make sure you get in there and smell it because you will not believe the aromas that are coming off this. Woo! And when you're done, you have the most beautiful green salty sand. Now, when you're done, you want to store this in an airtight Tupperware container in your fridge. It's going to stay really fresh for 2 weeks. It'll last months, but 2 weeks is the optimal time to use it up. And speaking of storage, so you all store data. My data is food. And when you're running out of space, it's always good to have some backups. All right, let's make some curry powder. Okay, into a cold pan, 2 tablespoons cumin seed, 1 tablespoon mustard seed, 1/2 teaspoon cardamom. Now turn the pan onto low heat. A spice mix like this is certainly going to up your consumption of Indian food. And when these spices begin to toast and the aromas fill the house, you will smell it in any part of the house. You get a beautiful sense of security, of comfort, because you know you're about to eat something delicious. Now after 5 minutes these are done, you want to get them out to cool. Now to this mix we're going to add 1 teaspoon cayenne pepper, 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon, 2 tablespoons ground coriander, and 2 tablespoons ground turmeric, which gives it the curry powder color. The last thing, just a healthy amount of finely ground black pepper. Now we could grind this with a mortar and pestle, but for ease, we're just going to add it to a coffee grinder and blend. Just about 20 seconds and we have a beautiful curry powder. Just make sure you wash your coffee grinder very well, or you're going to have a coffee I don't think anybody's tried. Trust me, I've accidentally done it and it's not good. So just to recap, this rosemary salt, steaks, pork, chicken, duck, roasted potatoes, sweet potatoes, oh my god, so many veggies. This is one of those spice mixes that is incredible on everything. It also makes a great little gift if you want to package them up in jars and give them away around Christmas time. And curry powder, obviously for curries, but for chicken skewers. It's amazing on potatoes, it's amazing on a lot of veggies. We're gonna be using it on our cauliflower steaks we cut in the first video. Just something I always need to have around, and so is that. Hope you're excited for the next videos where we cook a steak with rosemary salt and we cook cauliflower steaks with curry powder. How's that food intelligence meter going? Is it getting up there? I bet it is. Can't wait to see you back here for our main courses. And I'm out!
Thanks, Chef Sunny, for teaching us how to make that unique spice concoction. Next up, we're going to hear from HPE's Eric Gates on why HPE GreenLake provides organizations with the agility they need today.
Well, thank you for your time today. I appreciate you joining us for this session on HPE GreenLake. My name is Eric Gates. I'm the U.S. Channel Sales Director for HPE GreenLake and Pointnext Services. And we're going to talk a little bit about the shift to everything as a service and how that's helping customers like yourself accelerate innovation. Right? There's digital transformation that's happening all around us, and enterprises seek the need for speed and agility to help keep pace, whether that's around creating new products or services or customer experiences. We're seeing that a cloud-first technology or everything as a service is really starting to take hold. Right? Pay-per-use models, simplified IT operations have really driven this shift. As a matter of fact, according to a recent Deloitte report, an overwhelming 61% of enterprises such as yourselves report that they're mostly achieving accelerated innovation with an as-a-service type of model. So the value of the cloud experience is known. Everything as a service and pay-per-use models are understood, but quite honestly, cloud transformation is far from complete. And we're going to take a look about what's really kind of holding that back, right? The easy application migrations from legacy environments to public cloud, well, they've already happened, or they soon will. And then you kind of take a look at, well, what's happening new? That most of that is happening in a predominantly cloud-native environment. So that's one estate. However, there's 2/3 of apps that still remain on-prem due to some type of data restriction, whether that's architectural gravity, whether it's cost, latency, sovereignty, security, compliance issues. There are apps that are basically trapped on-prem in legacy infrastructure, and as a result, many enterprises are then caught in the middle of an old and new struggle with a complex dual IT operating environment, and that really stalls IT transformation. So the real key and the question here that we'll go ahead and explore is, what if you could have the cloud experience for all your data in apps, regardless of where that environment may lie, right? So imagine the cloud experience everywhere. And here at HPE, that's what we see, a world where apps and data live everywhere, where everything is connected. Apps and data will run on-prem and in the cloud or in the edge. This is the hybrid reality that we've been touting for a long period of time. We believe the cloud is an experience. It's an operating model. It's not a destination. Further, the cloud experience provides speed, agility, efficiency, and should be accessible to apps and data everywhere. And that's what we try to create with HPE's GreenLake, which I'm going to talk about here in a little while. It's that ability to deliver the cloud experience everywhere. So we're going to take a little look at what that means and where that will actually help benefit you. So we cover you whether your IT is on the edge, in a data center, or in a colo, or in a public cloud, or of course in all of these locations, which is typically what we see. The HPE GreenLake experience delivers cloud for all of your apps and data. It's basically on-prem, pay-per-use. It scales up and down as needed, takes advantage of variable costing and all cloud economics. So we're going to discuss what that really means. HPE GreenLake is our leading IT as a service offering that, again, brings the cloud experience everywhere to you. It delivers services and infrastructure for workloads on-prem, fully managed and in a pay-per-use model. This is a faster and more scalable IT with simplified operations, something that other providers attempt to do, but not at our scale and depth. And I'll talk later about how long we've done this, what we've done, how we've developed it, and how we continue to get better. This really unifies and simplifies operations, again, across the entire hybrid estate. And through some really cool tools, including GreenLake Central and our consumption analytics portal, we drive insights and control for operational excellence. This is beyond basic management and operations. This is insights and tools needed for a well-governed cloud. And we're going to show you the value of this as we move forward. First of all, we're going to stop and we're going to take a look at a few examples of key customers that have around the world found some sort of value with our cloud experience everywhere. First and foremost, Porsche. So Porsche is accelerating application development, decreasing data center complexity, reducing data center footprints around the globe. This has really helped them a lot as we helped help them establish a fully managed cloud environment. A key result that they saw was the ability to plan capacity ahead of use and avoid over-provisioning. I'll talk about over-provisioning and what that does to your IT budget, how that complicates and creates headaches for many customers just like you. But in this manner, we've helped through capacity planning reduce that. Nokia is another key customer that you may recognize, and they're leveraging the HPE GreenLake to operate a virtual lab and, again, a fully managed hybrid environment. Zenuity is a Swedish software company that is partnering with HPE to provide critical artificial intelligence and high-performance computing infrastructure. Zenuity is using their GreenLake environment to develop the next generation of autonomous driving vehicles. Really cool, really fun stuff. great to see large organizations taking advantage and accelerating value with HPE GreenLake. Matter of fact, we have done a lot of research working with both Forrester and other analysts to really try to document what are some of the key advantages with HPE GreenLake. And first and foremost, you'll see CapEx savings, right? And that's primarily due to the over-provisioning that I just talked about a second ago, because it's hard to predict how infrastructure will be needed in the future. And to avoid running out of capacity and impacting core business applications and operations, IT typically over-provisions. Why wouldn't you? Buy more than you need so that you don't run out, right? Sometimes it's up to as much as 40 or even 60% over-provisioning. We've got a lot of surveys that say, depending on whether it's compute or storage, customers are vastly over-provisioned. Moving to a consumption model, you can now eliminate that costly upfront capital expenditure, so you're not just taking the money out of your pocket and putting it down and now it's unavailable for you. You're only going to pay for the capacity as you need it. And by the way, when you over-provision and you've got all that capacity sitting there running in your environment, you're still paying for the two most expensive pieces of data center, and that would be the power and the people. So we want to try to eliminate that. The other thing we want to try to do is accelerate your time to these projects. And in this case, HPE can drive as much as a 65% shorter time to deploy projects. Why? Because we've got capacity on-prem in your environment running before you necessarily need it. Now we're going to optimize that. We're going to try to drive the highest level of utilization possible. So again, we eliminate or really try to reduce that impact of the power and people, but we want you to have that capacity ready so that it enables you to move faster to new opportunities. You don't have to deal with long procurement cycles. You can maintain that infrastructure and shorten the time to launch new products. And we're really going to help do this a lot with these tools that I mentioned earlier. Capacity, our consumption analytics portal, and GreenLake Central, which we're going to get to in a second. We want to also help you keep less time spent kind of keeping that lights on, right? So why many organizations kind of have that 80-20 rule of amount of resources dedicated to keeping lights on versus innovation, we want to reduce that as much as possible. So again, you can be focused on the higher value-added services. And then lastly, we really want to help the IT team productivity by reducing the support workload, right? With HPE GreenLake, customers are able to focus more on strategic roles by offloading data center management tasks such as infrastructure support and capacity planning, right? The tools and the analytics we provide help with capacity planning as well. And so this allows with fewer system outages, faster application performance, greater transparency of business demands, and a number of benefits associated with leveraging the latest HPE technology, which I want to get into as well. So we unify and simplify operations across the hybrid estate with managed services from HPE that are automated and backed globally with our expertise. HPE GreenLake is central. Or HPE GreenLake Central is one of the customer portal and operations consoles that allow you access to services available, to take action and to get information to govern it. We allow you to monitor and plan your capacity needs with HPE experts using the HPE Consumption Analytics portal to avoid under and costly over-provisioning of capacity, as I mentioned earlier. We offload monitoring and management of your hybrid cloud environment to HPE to fill gaps and to free up resources. We increase reliability and responsiveness with services using integrated tools for alerting and service management, issue resolution, security access, log analytics. We speed implementation with automation to easily onboard your hybrid IT environment. We ensure reliability of operations with infrastructure as code automation. We unify management across your hybrid environment with centralized dashboards and common tools, processes, and services. We monitor your critical KPIs, for example, performance, uptime, time to resolution, ticket status, etc. And lastly, we ensure your environment is always up to date with patching, configuration management, upgrades, and problem resolution. So now we're going to take a look at some experiences you'll enjoy as a customer of GreenLake. And really we're going to talk about how the GreenLake delivers this cloud experience through HPE GreenLake Central. So in purple over here on the left, you'll see that customers use the self-service portal and operations console to get information and insights they need to govern their clouds. You can take and initiate requests to get resources and analytics needed to support the business. And then on the right-hand side in green, you see where HPE works behind the scenes with management services and automation to do the work. In service request fulfillment, deployment of infrastructure, metering, billing, and capacity management on premise. We monitor, operate, and take action to keep the infrastructure at its peak, all while taking care of versioning of the infrastructure to ensure it's current and it's compliant. And that helps reduce security risks, absolutely. So here's a little bit more and some insight into what the consumption analytics portal, some of the screenshots may look like, as well as HPE GreenLake. And this is a unified portal, really, across the entire IT estate. And this enables you to run, manage, and optimize through a single pane of glass. It's comprised of widgets for easy access to top KPIs and apps that you use the most across your public, private, and hybrid clouds. And so if you just take a look at this, in the middle right there's the CIO, who now has point-and-click insights and control to easily gain deeper understanding of what's going on in the environment. You can see that the CFO receives a robust and intuitive consumption analytics, which enables better decisions about where to align IT spend, how to optimize costs, and when and where to plan for more capacity. DevOps has a role here, receiving fast provisioning of IT resources. And this is a similar experience across, again, all cloud environments, public and private. Legal has access to continuous compliance capabilities, as we actually monitor over 1,500 business and technical controls across the environment. And then IT Ops has all this in a data-driven way to really drive and understand capacity planning, something that most customers just tell us they don't do very well anymore. So overall, we find that we're leading the market and really driving some unique capabilities. And gets me into why. So why would you trust HPE with all this, right? We've actually got 16 patents granted and 30 more patents pending from the development of our HPE GreenLake Hybrid Cloud, including our Consumption Analytics Portal and GreenLake Central. We provide true pay-per-use on-premise solutions based on actual metering and usage. We provide active capacity planning. When combined with pay-per-use and metering, this drives cost savings and eliminates, again, that over-provisioning we discussed earlier. It's mature. We've got nearly a decade of leadership and IT experience in this sort of market. In breadth and depth of offering and partners and technologies that we can bring to bear is simply unmatched. We've got nearly 1,000 successful cloud migrations now, bolstered with the acquisitions of CTP, Cloud Technology Partners, and Red Pixie. So with all of this, what should you be doing next? Well, we want you to come and talk to us and take a better look at what we're doing, right? Let's evaluate your right mix. Let's accelerate your on-premise workloads into a consumption model. Let's simplify and optimize your cloud experience. And overall, as a result of all this cost savings, let's help you fund the transition. I appreciate your time. I look forward to talking with you more and helping you better learn how to accelerate through HPE GreenLake. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric, for showing us how a consumption-based IT model with HPE GreenLake can help us accelerate business outcomes. Now, let's check in with Chef Sunny. Sometimes, after a long day of setting the IT strategy for your organization, you just want to go home and cook up a good old-fashioned steak. Chef Sunny Harrell is here to show you how to make the most succulent steak you've ever tasted.
Welcome back again for our final tutorial, and it's gonna be a good one because we're cooking steak, New York strip to be precise. I'm sure most of us love steaks, but we love them even more now that we can write them off, am I right? If you're a grill guy, I'm about to change your mind forever. I'm gonna show you in this video how to execute a perfect medium rare steak all in one pan. Now, let's go! So your first step with any steak, pull it out of the fridge half an hour prior to cooking. This is called tempering, and it allows the steak to get a better sear and cook evenly. The next step is going to be to dry this steak extremely well. Moisture is the enemy of a good sear. Now, just a tiny bit of neutral oil on both sides and rub that in. Neutral oils are just oils that don't have a lot of flavor, like canola or grapeseed or peanut. Now, from up high, rain down some rosemary salt. If you know, you know. And you do know, because I just taught you how to do it. Finely ground black pepper. I like to pat in the seasoning, it really helps it stick. And do both sides. Now this is New York strip, so we have that fat cap right there. Take that and dip up all the seasoning off your board. Now we're ready to go. Now, the next thing, you gotta use a ripping hot pan. I love all-clad pans in case anybody is wondering. I think they give the best sear on a lot of foods. So I've had this pan on the highest heat possible for 5 minutes. You need to get heat into the pan first and then you start cooking. It's the biggest mistake I see people making at home when they cook. And yeah, it's gonna be a little scary, but you'll be all right. My rule is if you're not afraid of your pan a little bit, it's not hot enough. Okay, so we're gonna start with a tablespoon of peanut oil. Very high smoke point, that's why I'm using it for steak. Just a little over a tablespoon in. Now I'm gonna start just by searing this fat cap. Okay, I've got some good color after about 90 seconds. Bake down. So about 3 minutes, we have the most beautiful sear. Flip, sear for 1 more minute, and then turn the heat all the way down low. 3 cloves smashed garlic, about a tablespoon unsalted butter, 4 or 5 sprigs fresh thyme. Listen to that thyme crackle. Now pan back and bake. Okay, 4 minutes of basting and we rest. So as a general rule for resting steak, you want to rest it for half as long as you cooked it. So this took about 8 minutes, so I'm going to rest it for 4. And if you're cooking like a big roast, like a standing rib roast, you're going to have to rest it a lot longer. Let's see how we did. Always want to cut on a bias against the grain. Beautiful, a little more towards medium, but for a New York strip, that's great. Now we have all those beautiful basting juices left over. A little bit on the top is so yummy. And I always like a tiny bit of olive oil, gives it a nice mouthfeel. I swear to you, you try steak like this once, you'll never want to throw it on the grill again. It's so tasty. Well, I had a wonderful time doing these demos for you. I hope you're all doing well in quarantine, and I cannot wait to work with you again. So until next time, I'm out!
Thanks, Sonny, for showing us how to cook a great slab of meat. HPE InfoSite can enable you to drive greater predictability when you need it most. Request a demo by dropping your information into the form box below. And now I'm going to turn the event back over to our host.
Thanks everyone for joining us today. We hope you found these recipes for transformation informative. But your learning opportunity doesn't end here. Take advantage of any of our offers and connect with us to explore how we can help you accelerate your business goals. Just drop your information into the form below and we will follow up. We look forward to talking with each and every one of you.
Thank you for joining us today. Make sure you look around this page as there's a lot of great content to learn from. And please make sure you take advantage of the special offers you saw during today's event by filling out the form below. Thanks again.